Hello again. So in this video, I'm going to be going through the second counterpoint exercise on the exam, entitled Counterpoint number 2. In this one, we're going to be writing a counterpoint melody below the cantus firmus, and we're also going to be writing in second species, which means for every note in the cantus firmus, we're going to be writing 2 notes in our counterpoint line. So that means in this case we're going to be using all half notes. Again, we're going to start and end on the same note. So I am going to go ahead and write that in from the get-go here. Again, this is also in the Ionian mode, just like on your actual exam. I just used a different cantus firmus melody for example purposes. Now, the one exception here to the half note rule is going to be the next to last measure here. It's going to end the same way we did in our first species example. So now, again, we have D to C in the cantus firmus. So that means we are going to write, again, the 7th scale degree going to the first one here. Okay, so that much we know. You can go ahead and actually pencil that in on yours as well. Now, if we go back to the beginning, the first note of every measure has to be consonant, just like in first species. So our options are the same, we just have to think a little differently now since we're below the cantus firmus. So we know we're starting out on the same note. Okay, I'm going to actually jump ahead to the second measure here. So we have a G in the cantus firmus. That means our options for the first beat here could be G, that would be the same note or unison. We could have E, which would be a third below, right? Third below G is E. We could have a fifth below, which would be D. We could have a sixth below, which would be B. Okay. So those are our options. We could have an octave below as well, obviously. So in general, those are our options. Again, we want to always be on the lookout for parallel fifths or parallel octaves. Now, we know those are going to be some of our options. The second half note of each measure can be consonant, just like the first, or it can be a dissonant passing tone. So that would mean essentially the only way we can use dissonance is on the second half of the measure, and it has to be a passing tone. So we'll keep that in mind. I'm going to delete these here for now, and we'll get going here. So knowing that this E could work, I'm going to go ahead and try to write one of those dissonant passing tones for you to get a sense of that, right? Normally this wouldn't be allowed, right? We have D to C, that's a 7th. That's considered a dissonance, but it is allowed because once I write an E here, which is a consonant, E to G is a third, excuse me. So because we have stepwise motion here, because the melody is going C, D, E, this D is a passing tone. Okay, so that is the only time that a dissonance like that is going to be allowed. If I were to write a different note here, let's say I wanted to do a B, that's still a consonant, right? So the first note of the measure is consonant, that's good. B to G, we have a 6th there. That's fine, except now this note is no longer a passing tone, so that wouldn't be allowed. Move that back up to an E. And essentially we're going to continue on in that same manner, right? You can kind of make a habit of that, of looking ahead and planning out your note, and then kind of working backwards. So for here we have an A, let's say an F would work good below that, right? That would be a third below the cantus firmus. And then I can kind of go back in and see, okay, can I use any type of passing tone? Not really in this instance, right? So let's look for another consonant. This is G, excuse me. And what could we do here? We could do, let's say, C here. That would be fine. That would be a fifth below, right? So you're going to go ahead and complete the whole thing like this. Again, the first note of each measure has to be a consonant. The second note is usually going to be consonant. However, it can be dissonant if it is a passing tone. So hopefully that clears things up for you. Let me know if you have any questions, and good luck.